Sofia, a 40-year-old woman, lived in a crowded city and every day crossed the park in front of her house to reach the office where she worked. Sofia was a woman with a heart of gold, always ready to offer a smile and help to those in need. One cold morning, as she was returning home with a shopping bag, she noticed a man sitting on a bench, wrapped in a worn blanket. His eyes, despite the evident difficulties he found himself in, shone with a melancholy dignity. That man's name was Stefano, and he was a man with a troubled past, who for a few weeks had found refuge in that area to escape the cold and loneliness. Sofia, initially hesitant, felt an irrepressible impulse to help him. She stopped, handed him a warm blanket she had just bought for home and a bag with some food. Stefano looked at her with gratitude, thanking her with a sincere smile. Before continuing with the story, remember to like the channel to discover many new exciting stories every week. Thank you. Days passed, and Sofia got used to seeing Stefano on the same bench every day. When she could, she stopped to exchange a few words with him, bringing him food or hot tea. Sofia slowly began to learn Stefano's story, an entrepreneur who had lost everything following some problems. Stefano told Sofia episodes from his childhood. Raised in a poor but proud family, he had a strict father who rarely showed him affection. This had pushed him from a young age to seek success, convinced that only through hard work and wealth would he gain respect. "My father never told me he was proud of me," he confided to her one day, while his eyes were lost in emptiness. "I think that's why I threw myself into work non-stop." Stefano added that this constant need for approval had influenced all his adult relationships. "I was so focused on work that I let the most important things in life slip away. Love, friends, even my health. When I lost everything, I understood how fragile my foundations were." Sofia listened attentively, touched by Stefano's vulnerability. "You learned from those experiences," she told him, "and now you're a stronger person. That's what really matters." Those words seemed to relieve part of the weight Stefano had been carrying for years. This tragedy had deprived him not only of work but also of some friends and confidence in himself. Sofia was also struck by the intelligence and depth of Stefano's words. One day, while chatting in the park, Sofia told Stefano an episode from her childhood that had marked her. "When I was little, my father lost his job," she began. "I remember how my mother did everything to make us feel safe, even when we had nothing. She always tried to smile, even on the hardest days, and this taught me that strength comes from within." Stefano listened to her in silence, visibly touched. "I think that's why I always try to help others." Stefano looked at her with admiration and added with a reflective tone, "It's not just strength, Sofia. It's also your empathy that makes you so special. Few people manage to see the value of others like you do." Sofia smiled, surprised by the depth of his words. "Thank you, Stefano," she replied. "But I think you're also learning to see the value of small things." That conversation brought them even closer, creating a bond that went beyond words. That friendship slowly transformed into something deeper. Sofia realized she looked forward to the moments spent with Stefano. He, with his kindness and humor, brightened her days. Sofia found herself often reflecting on her own feelings. On one hand, she was attracted to Stefano's kindness and depth. On the other, she couldn't ignore the criticism received from her friends and colleagues. The voices and judgments often resonated in her mind, making her feel trapped between desire and fear of being judged. One evening, while sipping tea in her living room, she confided in her best friend Clara. "I don't know what to do," Sofia admitted. "Stefano has a difficult past and people talk, but I can't stop thinking about him." Clara looked at her with an understanding smile, but added a firm tone. "Sofia, true love is never easy. It's not a smooth road free of obstacles. The question is, what matters more to you? Other people's opinions or what you feel deep down?" Sofia lowered her gaze to the teacup, reflecting on her friend's words. "I think Stefano matters more," she murmured, almost as if she was saying it first of all to herself. "I need to find the courage to follow my heart." Clara nodded with approval. "Then do it." Let your heart decide and you'll see that the rest will find its place. Those words resonated in Sofia like a lighthouse in the fog, offering her a sense of clarity that had been missing until that moment. Stefano, for his part, found in Sofia a strength and goodness he had never known before. In the following days, their bond deepened further. Stefano began to share with Sofia some of his favorite poems, reading them aloud under the stars during their evening walks. One night, Stefano gave her a notebook on which he had written a poem dedicated to her, describing how her smile had become for him a beacon in the storm of life. Sofia read it carefully, and in the end she was moved, realizing the depth of Stefano's feelings. "No one had ever made me feel so special," she told him, clutching the notebook to her chest. Things unfortunately got complicated when Stefano became seriously ill due to the cold. When Sofia found him, wrapped in a blanket and trembling, she didn't hesitate to take him to her home, defying the judgments and gossip of the neighborhood. She took care of him with dedication, staying by his side day and night until he recovered. During that period, Stefano realized the depth of Sofia's love, while she understood that she could no longer deny her feelings. When Stefano fully recovered, he wanted to thank Sofia in a special way. One evening, while they were having dinner together, he told her, "I can never repay you for what you did for me, but I want to start building something together." Sofia smiled, surprised by those words. "What do you have in mind?" Sofia asked. Stefano spoke of his desire to start over and how he wanted to share every step with her. "I'd like to go back to working on something important, but this time not for myself, but for us." That conversation was the beginning of a new phase of their life. The two began making plans for the future, visiting museums, cities, and often finding themselves chatting about books, the passion of both. One day Stefano organized a surprise for Sofia, an improvised trip to a small mountain village. They spent an unforgettable day among snowy landscapes and evenings by the fireplace, talking about their dreams and reading poems. After dinner, while they were by the fire, Stefano stood up and pulled out a small velvet box. "Sofia," he began, with an excited light in his eyes. "Since I met you, you've changed everything in my life. You brought light back where there was only darkness. I know there's no one I want to share my future with more than you." Sofia looked at him, surprised and moved, as Stefano knelt before her and opened the box, revealing a simple but elegant ring. "Will you marry me?" he asked with a sincere and hopeful smile. Tears began to flow down Sofia's face, and with a radiant smile she replied, "Yes, Stefano. Yes, I will." When Sofia announced she would marry Stefano, friends and relatives reacted with disbelief. "How can you marry a homeless person?" they asked her. Marta, a colleague of Sofia's, always seemed ready to discredit Stefano. "I don't understand how you can waste time with a man like him," she said with a contemptuous tone. However, Luca, another colleague, sided with Sofia. "Don't let others decide for you," he told her one day. "Stefano could be the right man for you, regardless of his past." The criticism and unpleasant comments were hard to bear, but Sofia remained firm in her decision. "Love doesn't look at social status," she replied. Every evening, Stefano wrote her a new poem, which he left under her pillow or inside a book she was reading. Those words reassured her and made her feel loved like never before. The wedding day arrived, and only a few close friends chose to attend the ceremony, while many others preferred not to be there, categorically refusing the invitation. Sofia, beautiful in her white dress, waited for Stefano with her heart in turmoil. When the man arrived, he left everyone speechless. Stefano got out of a luxury car, wearing an elegant black tuxedo. Guests looked at each other, incredulous. Stefano arrived at the altar with an enigmatic smile. During the ceremony, Stefano spoke. "Sofia," he said, looking into her eyes, "before we say our vows, I must confide something to you. I'm not who you think I am." A murmur went through the hall. "I've never been a real homeless person," Stefano continued. "I'm a wealthy man. I run an important, successful company. I wanted to test you to see if you could love me for who I really am, without being influenced by my wealth." Sofia was speechless, her eyes filled with tears. "And you did it," Stefano added. "You proved that true love exists. That's why today I promise to give you everything my heart and my world can offer you." After those words, the ceremony transformed into a fairy tale party. The hall, already elegantly decorated, was suddenly animated by musicians, sparkling lights, and a buffet worthy of a castle. Distinguished guests, Stefano's friends who until that moment had remained in the shadows, joined the party. Sofia, still overwhelmed with emotion, let herself be swept away by the magic of the day, danced with Stefano under a cascade of lights, and felt like a princess. But the surprises weren't over yet. During the reception, Stefano revealed a further secret: a donation made in Sofia's name to a shelter to help other people in difficulty. After the wedding, Stefano took Sofia to their new home, a magnificent villa surrounded by enchanting gardens. The villa was carefully furnished. Each room seemed to tell a story. Despite the opulence, Sofia never let herself be blinded by wealth and continued to live with the same humility and kindness that had always characterized her. Every morning, Stefano brought her breakfast in bed along with one of his unfailing notes containing a romantic thought. Sofia and Stefano made numerous trips around the world, immersing themselves in local cultures and forging bonds with the communities they encountered. Each trip became an opportunity to learn and reflect on how they could contribute to improving the lives of others. During a visit to a remote village, they were warmly welcomed by children who led them to a small school in precarious conditions. That moment inspired them to undertake a new project. The couple organized fundraising events not only to create libraries, hospitals, and facilities to help children in difficulty in the poorest countries, but also to offer scholarships to talented young people who otherwise would not have had opportunities. Stefano, strong from his entrepreneurial experience, started collaborations with local companies to support educational initiatives, while Sofia dedicated herself to writing articles and books that would raise public awareness about these causes. Friends and relatives who had mocked Sofia now found themselves observing her with respect and admiration. Stefano, for his part, never stopped thanking his fortune for having met such an extraordinary woman. The story of Sofia and Stefano became an example of pure and unconditional love that reminded everyone that true love knows no barriers of status and wealth. This story is not only a celebration of sincere love, but also a reminder of the power of kindness and empathy, which can change the world one person at a time. And you, do you believe in true love? Write me what you think in the comments. If you like this story, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Thank you.